Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. Any of you guys who have been watching my channel for any length of time know that I have what you might call a bit of a pet peeve against duckweed. There's nothing really wrong with it except one simple thing. I mean, it's a great surface cover, as you can see here. It does supply security for fish, and it is highly edible for a number of species of fish. The problem I have with it is this. It is really difficult to get rid of, and as you can see in this tank here, it can also grow to the point where it will start choking out other plants, and it also interferes with the gas exchange at the surface of the tank. These are all things that are easy sort of to get around, unless of course it's in your entire fish room. I mean, I had it in every tank at one point, and I have been in the last, well, probably I'd say with the last 2-3 weeks, really cracking down on it hard. And I think I've gotten rid of most of it, though the problem with duckweed, again, of course, is it will come back in the smallest amounts. If there's just a speck of it somewhere and you didn't notice it and it's behind something, and eventually you end up with another big patch of it somewhere. And it's easy when you have more than a handful of tanks to lose track of it and end up with, the mess that you have in this tank here. So I've been getting rid of it gradually, and in one of my quarantine tanks, I had quarantine these goldfish because one of my clients really wanted them. I'm not a big fan of goldfish, but I actually really like the calico ones here, and one of the stores recently had a nice huge tank full of them. So I picked up half a dozen, and one of them turned out to be a calico fantail. That's the one up front. These are almost all going to go to clients. I think I might keep 2 of them back. I think they're a pair. Oh, actually, before I get too far, this is one thing that's interesting about it as well. Notice at the beginning of this is still day 0, when I just first put the goldfish in. There's a nice amount of shrimp and plants and, of course, duckweed. So keep an eye on that as this progresses. So I didn't bother filming day 1 because nothing really changed. The goldfish hadn't settled in yet. And as you can see here, they are nice and happy now and are beginning to eat things. And you can even, right now, this is only like 2 days, and you can already see a decrease in the amount of duckweed. Now, I normally don't like using goldfish for this because I figure once they run out of the duckweed, which apparently seems to be very tasty to them, they are going to start in on the other plants. So this is going to probably run as is for a while because I do want to grow these 2 fish out. And I think maybe I'll breed them because they are actually really a lovely pair. And actually, I'm not entirely sure they're a pair yet. They are a bit young, but when they get a bit older, hopefully the larger, lighter colored one will get the tubercles on its gill plates to indicate that it's a male. I'm more certain that the other one's a female because of, just general body shape. But then again, it's hard again to tell with goldfish because these are obviously mutts, so they may end up just having a slightly different body shape. But anyway, I'll figure all that out later on. If not, they'll just go into a client's tank. So, we'll see how that goes. So notice as I'm filming this, I am focusing a fair amount on the plants in the middle. When I first started this, I left as much duckweed as possible alone, but I did obviously accidentally remove some of it because I was concerned that a lot of these plants are going to get eaten, so I had removed some. And if you remember from the videos doing on plants and their chemistry and that sort of stuff, and producing toxins for other plants, that hornwort I put in that tank that ended up dying off was the one I was setting aside to save. So that didn't quite work out the way I planned. So here we are 5 days in now, and as you can see, they have made a drastic change in the amount of duckweed here. And the other thing I've noticed as these days progressed, actually it's probably about day 2 or day 3 maybe, I can't remember exactly, because I wasn't really paying attention to that part of it. The shrimp, you don't see them anymore. I know there is a number of them hiding in that big pot there, but obviously they are tasty, and the goldfish are of sufficient size that they just snack on them, and it is obviously to their best interest not to be visible. So here you go, day 6, and it's getting to the point now where obviously these guys are doing an amazing job. And I let this run for, well, it's still running actually currently, but I stopped filming after 9 days, and about somewhere between day 7 and day 8, There's literally nothing left of the duckweed. I mean, I did have to go around, you see just in the top above the water line there, I did have to knock that stuff down into the tank just to give them access to it. But that's the only thing I've done to this. So here it is at day 7, and it's pretty much all gone. Now, I wasn't really ever concerned that the goldfish wouldn't eat the duckweed because they are herbivores and they're very good at what they do. And the nice thing about using fish to actually do this is it is in their best interest to sort out and find the food that they want, and they can get the small particles that I would miss. And as you can see, they're doing an amazing job. The problem with using goldfish to do this is, will they eat the plants? And as I said near the beginning, once the duckweed's gone and their tastier food is gone, will they start in on the other plants? And like I said, I'm going to run this for some time afterwards. I really do want to grow out these fish and hopefully breed them at some point. If you remember from a number of videos ago, I think it was spring of last year or the fall, I'm not sure, it's been a while now, I did a pond removal and I had a bunch of goldfish temporarily in my fish room and they bred. I actually want to breed them for real this time, so that I can raise them up, and they are good for daycares and that sort of thing. So here's the last day I filmed this, and it is pretty much duckweed free. The only thing I did to help them out a little bit, because some of the hornwort is near the surface there, once or twice I got in there with my hands and just moved it around so that they can get access to the little bits and pieces that are in the needles. And there you go. It's pretty much all gone. And that's actually quite impressive for a little over a week. And it's nice and clear now. So I'm going to do a little side-by-side here for you for the next to final clip, because it is actually quite a drastic difference from front to back. And yeah, goldfish are amazing at doing this. And there's just the 3 of them in here. So here you go. The left is obviously the beginning. And there you go on the right. It's gone. It's and that is from day this is day 0, yeah, so technically 10 days, but the goldfish were in at this point, and I actually don't think I had removed some of the plants to keep them from getting eaten, which, as you can see, did not happen yet, so that was really no point. But it did give the goldfish more access to the surface, because the hornwort was kind of overgrowing up here as well. And there you go, start to finish, they did an amazing job. And at this point, I could recommend them for, removing duckweed if you have a duckweed problem. Again, I will run this for some period of time, and we'll see if in another month or 2, if they manage to mow down the rest of the tank. Because I have kept goldfish with plants in setups for daycares and that sort of stuff before, and they do eat plants. They will start eating the hornwort, and they will eat the vallisneria for sure. So we'll see how that all goes, see what it looks like in this tank in a month or 2. And I will do an update, and of course, as always, the updates will be on Sundays for that sort of stuff. Now, there's one other thing I want to show you. The neat thing about all this shrimp and duckweed and fish food that I was feeding, because I was feeding them regular food as well, on the left is what they look like by the end, and on the right is when they started. I think they gained about 50% in mass in that week because of mowing down all that natural food. It's not the best before and after picture here, but unfortunately I wasn't really thinking about this part of it when I was setting this experiment up. It's unfortunate, but you can see by the size of the box filters there, it is relatively close. Obviously the fish are more towards the front in the left hand picture than they are in the right hand picture, but they did fatten up considerably. And as always, if you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe, and definitely leave me comments below as to what you think of this. It's an interesting little experiment, and like I said, I was getting rid of all the duckweed anyway. I have a little bit in one of my Daphnia cultures still, and I'm probably going to leave a little bit way over there, away from all these tanks, because there really isn't much of a danger of contaminating from there over to here, so I'll probably just leave that there. But at time, I'll probably end up getting rid of that as well. It has its uses, which is kind of me, so I don't really want to get rid of it completely, but I don't want it in any of my actual tanks for breeding and stuff. So thanks again for watching. I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.